Welcome to Batch TV. My name's Landry and I'm the community manager with Batch. And if you have both a Podio and BatchDialer account, today's episode will be talking all about how to get them integrated so you can stay on top of those important leads. We'll start by going right into my BatchDialer account, and the first area you'll check out is in your settings. So just go there by clicking on your name in the top right hand corner. Go here to the gear icon and over to integrations on the left. There is a direct integration, so it makes it really simple to get those connected. The big part of where people miss out on is that you have to create an app within Podio. So we'll go through how to get that all squared away and working properly. At the end of today's guide, I'll also show how when you initiate a call, how you can have that contact push over to Podio successfully. So we'll tie it all together. In integrations, click on the integrate tab under Podio. And what the system's going to require of you is going to be a couple things we'll talk about before we go into Podio to gather them. And for you, it might look a little bit different. I already have something connected, so it may look more like this, asking you to first log into Podio. And for me, it connects really easily every time. It may have a screen where you actually have to go through and log in, so it just depends on what pops up for you. So after it's been successfully connected or logged into Podio, then it will bring you to this screen. So click on Add New, and it's going to eventually need your Podio workspace, your Podio app or your workspace app, and then you're going to customize the fields. It seems really overwhelming, but I promise it's super simple. And we're going to go into our Podio account so we can create a workspace or use something you already have and create our app. So in my Podio account, I am going to go ahead to open up my menu over here on the left. I have tons of different workspaces just because I make a lot of different examples. So you might already have just one created, and that's totally fine to use. You'll be able to do the exact same thing I'm going to show today. Just to create a clean slate, I'm going to go to create a new workspace. And we're just going to name this BatchDialer September, just be easier for me to find it later. And create that as a private group or workspace and create. You can pick if you want to add anybody to your workspace. I'm just going to leave mine alone for now. And you're going to go to Add App. So for anybody that already has a workspace that you're currently adding leads to in Podio, you're probably going to see a ton of different apps here that you've got through the marketplace in Podio, and that's totally fine, but you must create your own app to connect these and for that to work properly. So click on Add App, you're going to skip the app marketplace area, and you're going to go to create your own. Go and name it the way you'd like. I'm just going to name this BatchDialer Leads. Name it the same thing for the item name. And I'm going to leave it as a standard app. You can create an icon or choose something here. I'm going to grab this handshake one and then create it here. All you have to do to have those fields populate, and all you're doing to create an app is to pick out different fields where you'll eventually push that data over from BatchDialer. So you would have things like the name, the address, the mailing address, the phone numbers, any notes, your lead sheets, all of the information you want to eventually push over through your account. That's all you're doing here. What I'd recommend is to just ignore all of these different areas because a lot of them aren't going to be relevant anyway. Like you can't push over money or a progress percentage or anything like that. So I would just grab text boxes and name them after the data you're going to be pushing over. So for example, for my title one, I usually make this just the full name or the lead name is typically what I like to name it. And I do like to have things separated as well. So I have the first name, the last name. Now for the address, you can do this any way you'd like. I typically separate it by street address just because it makes it so much easier if I want to pull that data off later. The city, add another text box for the state and zip code, and type those out. So we're going to add other things, of course, like the phone number, the notes, the campaign name, the agent that made the call. You can get super nitty gritty with it, and you'll see the different integratable options here in a moment. But let's do the zip code, and we'll add a few other ones to finish us off. Okay, so I finished just mapping out the rest of the data points that I'm eventually going to be pushing over. So you can see what I have completed here is the first and last name, street, city, state, and zip code for the property address eventually, the phone number that I had the conversation with or had that on, the email, notes, the full mailing address. I just kept that in one slot. You can separate that as well, like the property address if you want to. Lead sheet, it's a really cool feature. It's pretty underutilized within your BatchDialer settings you can check out. Campaign name, the agent name, and the dispatch disposition or call result used on that call. So you're going to click done when you're finished with all of your text boxes and pieces of info you're eventually going to have pushed over. And all you have to do now is finish that setup on that page that I previewed earlier. So it's asking for the workspace, the app, and mapping that out. So I just wanted to show that as a preview. I'm going to start over since I created a brand new workspace. So I want it to be able to be refreshed. So let's just go back to click that integrate option. We're going to go back to that section to add new. So here's my BatchDialer September workspace that I just created. And my workspace app is called BatchDialer Leads. And all we're going to do is match up the Podio app fields I just created and mapped out with BatchDialer. So there's going to be different options that you might have not previously mapped out when creating your Podio app. Like you might see something like the mood that maybe you want to be able to map out and add. Just go back to Podio if you need to make a change to all of the different points of information. Click on the wrench icon, and you can modify the template and add additional text boxes and just reload that if you want to. I'm happy with what I've already mapped out, so we're gonna just leave it as is and map all of these different fields. So the lead name, I'm gonna match with the full name. I'm gonna do first name, last name, all of these things I'm just gonna match up. For the phone number, choose the contacted number. That will be the number that you actually had the conversation on or with the contact. There is another area that you'll see that says phones, and that would be like all of their additional phone numbers. For me, I'm kind of just interested in the one that I maybe potentially had the conversation on. So that's the one I'm concerned with. If you want the rest of the phone numbers, you might want to add another field in your Podio app. So we're going to leave that alone and do the rest of these. The disposition is another important one. That's going to be your call result. So anytime you've ever made a call in BatchDialer and you see those colorful buttons pop up at the end of your calls, those are your call results or your dispositions. I definitely want to push that data over because I want to be able to see what I marked that call as when it got pushed over to Podio. So once you're done, click save. You can name it something different if you want to as well, but I'm happy with that. And the last step is you do need to make sure that it's connected to your campaign so that the system knows who you'd like to show up in Podio. Because the nice thing with Podio is that you could create a bunch of different apps or have that mapped out for different campaigns if you wanted to and get really specific. I'm just creating one for all, but it's totally up to you if you want to go through that process again for different things that you might want to push over in a coordinating list. So let's just go to my campaign screen and connect it to something existing I have. If you're still in the process of getting your account set up in BatchDialer or Batch Leads or anything batch related, we have tons of detailed videos and articles available for you if you go to the B in the bottom left, and you can go to our help article. So you can get phone numbers, see how to do that, create campaigns, and tons of different guides there. We also have a lot of videos here on Batch TV for you to go through. That'll just be a lot more focused. But let's go to campaigns, and I'm going to go to this preview dialer I already have set up for a pre-foreclosure campaign, and I'm going to click on the three dots off to the right and edit the campaign. You might need to create a new one if you don't have something already, and you'll need to connect the Podio integration down here in the integration spot. So there it is. And remember, BatchDialer does have the ability to create campaigns from an existing one, so you can duplicate things in here now. So if you want to, you don't have to every single time go through and add that Podio integration. If you just edit one nice, really concrete campaign that has a lot of those really detailed settings like your Podio integration, the script you want to use, all of these really important things to you, the next time you go to create a new campaign, you can just duplicate it so you don't have to go through all of that setup over and over again. But I just want to show you that section of where you can connect it if you need to. So making sure that's connected, I'll go through and show you how this works and how people are going to push over to Podio and show up in that system. So the last little final piece in here to keep in mind, if you're wondering who is going to be pushed over, how will the system know who I want to end up in Podio, it's all going to come down to your dispositions or your call results. If you weren't aware, your call results in BatchDialer, and I'll show an example call here shortly, they all have rules. The system will listen to what you want to happen to that contact depending on what you use. It could be trying to obey that you don't want it to give that person a call back ever, or put them on your DNC list, or to schedule an appointment. There's tons of rules available in here, and the one that you want to watch out for is something that should be there by default on your successful sale button. You can put this on any button you want to have that same effect to push over to Podio. But let's check out the one that everybody has. Click on the pencil icon off to the right. Let me just reset this real quick. But go ahead and click on that pencil icon and you'll see that this one right here, mark as lead, is the rule that the system's watching out for and looking to actually initiate that push. So anytime you have a button that you want to have that same effect and push over to Podio, just make sure it has the mark as lead option applied. To start making phone calls in BatchDialer, you really just need to have phone numbers purchased in your account or added. You need to have contacts of who you want to call, and you need to have a campaign created telling the system how you want it to behave and having your Podio integration connected and all that good stuff. So when you're ready and you have that stuff set up, you're going to click on the phone button in the top right hand corner, and you're going to click on join next to the campaign you want to dial. So here's my Phoenix pre-foreclosures campaign. It is a manual dialer, the preview dialer. So there's two different options in here. The preview dialer allows you to call one person at a time, very manual process. And the magic wand icon is for our auto dialer or the predictive dialer. So this is where you're going to see a lot more people using options like this. This is just way easier for a guide to show the preview option. But with predictive, it's likely going to be calling multiple people at once, and it will continuously rotate through until somebody picks up on the other end, allowing you to have that successful connection and go off and read your script and all that good stuff. With preview dialer, it's all one by one. So let's go ahead and go to the next lead. This is also the dial mode you'll use when you want to call people back. But when we are working on this campaign, let's say that we want to call this contact Willard, and we will have the information blurred out here for YouTube and for privacy purposes. You can also view details in here. So if you are using a predictive dialer and you're using the auto dialer, as soon as somebody picks up, this contact card will automatically appear and populate for you. For preview, I can take all the time in the world and look at the information before I initiate the call if I want to. But let's go ahead and call this contact, and you'll have the conversation, and as soon as the call ends, whether you hang it up or they hang up on you, you'll get your screen of call results. Now, I have tons of custom ones in my account that I've created, so don't worry if you see way less than me. You can stick with the generic and basic ones that are already in your account ready to go. So let's grab successful sale, or maybe my very interested one. It doesn't matter, just as long as that has that rule. Leave any notes on how the call went, my mood, and anything else I want to include there. Click done, and the contact will appear in Podio. So just to reiterate, the way that it really finishes off that push to CRM is based off the rule on your call result. For any of you getting started in BatchDialer, just use your successful sale button. It already has that rule applied for you. So let's go over to my Podio account to show you how that shows up. And there they are. So all you have to do is wait for them to come push over, and you can open up that contact block and see all of the information that you've previously mapped out when you set up your app. I hope today's video was helpful, and if you end up having questions, feel free to drop a comment down below or reach out to our team. If you found value in today's video and this helped you, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And remember to find the link in the description to join the community, where you can reach out to me for more clarification or just to connect with amazing people nationwide. And we hope to see you guys on the next episode.